Thank you for joining me. I'm your host, Robert Kraft, editor-in-chief of StockNewsNow.com. Today we are doing an SNNLive newscast with CFO Bill Korn and Chief Medical Officer Dr. Jonathan Bertman from Medical Transcription Billing Corp. We're speaking via Skype from their offices in New Jersey and Rhode Island. Medical Transcription Billing Corp is a publicly traded company with the symbol MTBC on the NASDAQ. We're speaking with Bill Korn first. Bill, welcome to this SNNLive newscast.
Thanks, Robert. It's great to be here.
It's great to have you. So for those who don't know, let's start off with an overview of the company.
Sure, Robert. So MTBC stands for Medical Transcription Billing Corporation. The company has been in business for 15 years. We went public with an IPO on NASDAQ about 2.5 years ago. We're a healthcare IT company providing a combination of revenue cycle management, electronic health records, practice management software, and mobile apps for doctors' practices. We've grown through acquisitions as well as organically. Typically, we focused on smaller practices, but we've now got some larger practices and some hospitals as clients as well.
Bill, we actually did an interview with Steven Snyder, the president of MTBC, a little over a year ago. So I was hoping if you could provide an update on some business and corporate developments at MTBC.
Sure. This is a very exciting time for an update because there are 3 major events taking place at MTBC right now that will bring our business to a new stage in our development. The first was the acquisition of Medigain in October 2016. This was our largest acquisition to date and promises to be our most successful. We acquired over $10 million of annualized revenue, allowing us to reach a scale where we believe we can be profitable in the near future. We did so on very favorable terms. We agreed to pay $7 million, which was less than 1 times revenue. We paid Prudential, who was Medigain's senior creditor and effective owner, since Medigain was in default on their debt, $2 million initially and deferred the remaining $5 million. We are currently working with Prudential to determine the timing and form we will use to secure additional financing. Since the acquisition in October, we have reduced expenses dramatically, eliminating expensive subcontractors, moving work to high-quality, cost-effective offshore employees, and closing expensive offices. We have previously given guidance to the street to expect to see our adjusted EBITDA turn positive as the year progresses, and we've given guidance of $2 to $2.5 million of EBITDA for the year. The second milestone, one of the many benefits of the Medigain deal, was jump-starting our sales and marketing. We spent under 2% of revenue on sales and marketing in 2014 and 15, since we found that acquisitions were a more cost-effective means of growth. We hired a few salespeople during the first half of 2016, but didn't really get the results we were looking for. Fortunately, Carl Johnson, who ran sales and marketing for Medigain before the acquisition, is now running our worldwide sales and marketing team. This year, he and his team have signed new clients who will provide $1.9 million of annualized revenue when fully deployed, and that's just January through April. So for the first time, the anticipated monthly revenue from new signups exceeds the revenue from clients who've retired, sold their practices, or decided to switch to another healthcare IT provider. This will allow us to start showing organic revenue growth in the future. Finally, we have an exciting new product initiative, which is being spearheaded by an industry icon. I'd like to introduce Dr. Jonathan Bertman. Dr. Bertman has joined us as Chief Medical Officer and leader of Talk EHR, our soon-to-be-released next generation of electronic health record. Not only is Dr. Bertman a family physician, he founded and led one of the top EHRs for small practices, Amazing Charts, which was acquired at the end of 2012.
We're now speaking with Dr. Jonathan Bertman from his office in Rhode Island. He is the Chief Medical Officer and leading the Talk EHR initiative at the company. Dr. Bertman, welcome to this SNNLive newscast.
Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you on as well. So to start, what is your background?
Well, I'm a family physician by training and have worked in Rhode Island for nearly 2 decades. And when I started out, I realized I needed an EHR, electronic health record, and found there really weren't that many systems out there that let me care for my patients the way I wanted to. So I started my own, and over the course of a decade, grew that into a company called Amazing Charts, which I sold in 2012 to DBC Primet.
And how did you come into working at MTBC?
I've actually known MTBC for quite some time. As a family physician, I actually used them as a billing company, and that's where they started. And my experiences with them over time, both as a physician and as the owner of Amazing Charts at the time, let me connect with them and find that these guys really had the ability to build pretty technologically amazing software.
So, can you please describe the Talk EHR initiative? What is it?
Well, really, the concept is that 1 in 2 physicians today, and the clinical staff in general, is feeling burnt out. And the reason is, one of the most cited reasons, is that it's actually an increase in computerization in the practice. Now, that's ironic because these are supposed to be tools that help us see patients, provide care, and basically enjoy our career as physicians, and yet the software and tools that have been introduced really are not doing that. So the goal is, let's make that tool. And even with Amazing Charts, I got nearly there. And still today, it's not a function of any one company, but the tools that are out there are mediocre at best. MTBC has the technology. They've built it. I feel as a primary care physician, it just needs to be slightly tuned to the way that I like to see patients.
And how do you plan to implement the Talk EHR initiative?
Slowly, carefully, and perhaps like Apple, in that keeping it secret until I'm ready to show it. But seriously, there are a couple aspects of Talk EHR, and that is, as our name describes, let's use voice and the ability of speech recognition to help us guide and navigate the mundane and difficult aspects of seeing patients. So through speech recognition, through touch, and the natural and intuitive ways that we want to interact with our computers and devices today, let's incorporate that into the EHR. And not the least of which is, let's make sure our EHR is completely integrated with billing from the first login, so that we can get reimbursed for the care that we're providing.
Thank you, Dr. Bertman. I really appreciate you joining me today as well.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Dr. Bertman, again for joining me today to talk about the Talk EHR initiative. I'm back here with Bill Korn, the CFO of MTBC. Now, Bill, where can our audience go and find more information about the company?
Sure. People can go to our website, which is www.mtbc.com. There they can learn all about our company, our products and services, read about the management team and our board of directors, and see investor relations information that will be useful for understanding more about our business.
Bill, thank you so much for joining me today. Again, my name is Robert Kraft, and I'm the host of this SNNLive newscast. Bill, it was a pleasure.
Thanks, Robert. I enjoyed it as well.